Hello, everyone. Welcome to William in the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Luke. Luke is from England in the UK. So let's see what Luke has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, hello, Luke. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, William? You good?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this evening for the interview. Thank you.
No worries. My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. How did you come across me and why did you want to interview me?
Literally, I know some profiles just show up on my feeds, and
Yeah.
I literally just have a look very briefly. I tend not to look into too much because I like to get to know my guests during the
Cool.
interview. So
Okay. Nice.
just have a look basic just to see a little bit, but I don't go into very deep just to have like a
Cool.
great conversation.
Nice. Cool. 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 That's cool. That makes sense.
So tell me, how was your day today?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I've been back in the UK now. I came back on Sunday morning. I had to go and visit my nan, who's not very well, on Monday. So and then yeah, so today was and then I was doing admin Tuesday. Today was like a me day. I went and trained, had a spa day, decompressed a little bit. So yeah, I had a good day basically. You?
Amazing. So where your grandmother is based?
So she's over in Kent, which is in the UK. So yeah, down in a place called Ramsgate. So yeah, on the Kent coast basically. So it was like a day round trip to get down and see her and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty tough.
And tell me where you're from, Luke.
I'm from London originally, so yeah, in the UK, born and bred in London, but I no longer live there.
I see. So tell me, what was the best part of growing up in London, in your opinion?
Best part of growing up in London, having access to so many different cultures. So I grew up in inner city London, and birthday parties at friends could be going to like a Vietnamese birthday party, a Somalian, a Nigerian, a Jamaican. For me, growing up as a white British kid, that is an incredible exposure to so many different cultures and foods and things like that. And yeah, it was beautiful. Like that's the thing I would always take away from my time growing up in London is just, yeah, it opens your eyes to how many cultures there are.
And where are you based right now?
So I live in Norfolk. So I live in a place called Thetford, it's famous for the forest. We have a really big forest here, which is cool.
And why did you change from London to Suffolk?
For me, like I love London, and as a Londoner, it's nice. I just found like the expense of London and the cost of it was all very difficult, and also it's very fast paced. And I've worked in London, I grew up in London, I know it very well. And as I've got older, I've been seeking peace, and I just found like time away from London gives me that peace.
Amazing. And what do you do for work for living, Luke?
So at the moment, I'm a freelance creative. So photographer, I do video work. I also do like marketing consultancy. So yeah, just working for myself currently.
And what do you like the most about your job, your career?
I like the direction that it's moving into. So I've always been conscious of like fitness and health and things like that. And I'm starting to undertake some courses because I want to start doing like mentoring and coaching and things like that. I really want to help other people, make better choices. So yeah, so that, and I'm really enjoying that. I mean, it feels like my calling. It feels like I've got a bit of purpose. I've done a lot of things for other people, whereas where I am in life right now, this feels like my calling.
Amazing. Okay, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Yeah, cool. 100%.
But before we start the game, I would like to start the interview with a phrase that I saw on your profile. It says there, make life an adventure. Yeah? What do you mean by that? Why this phrase there exposed on your Instagram?
I think for me, last year and the beginning of this year so far, I've learned that we can all very easily get caught up in the motion of life and we just go through the motion and life can become mundane and it doesn't have to be that way. We can make an adventure out of everything and life becomes exciting when you have an adventure. If you think back to being a kid, it was all about adventure, and that's the fun and the excitement, exploring new things and stuff. And I think we lose that as adults. We play safe, we lose that excitement. And for me, I've kind of rediscovered that. And I think it's so important, like make life an adventure. And I've just been traveling. I've come back to the UK. It now is very boring, really, because I go back into the routine of life and I'm like, how do I make that exciting? How do I make it an adventure every single day? And that's kind of the commitment I've made to myself in 2025. I'm going to make every day an adventure.
Amazing. And so far, 2025, what has been the highlight? I know we are in the first month, a few days only, a few weeks, but there is something that has been the highlight of your year so far?
So far, I've just come back from traveling in Indonesia, Thailand, stuff like that, and I climbed the Tiger Cave in Thailand. So I climbed 1,260 steps to get to the top of this temple,
Wow.
and that was an incredible experience. We got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to set off really early to get there for the sunrise. That was an incredible experience. It was hard work, but when you get to the top, you're just like, whoa. So yeah, so far that's going to be hard to top because that's at the start of the year, but I'm going to try to.
Amazing. Look, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
I am.
Amazing. Welcome to William in the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Run the fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song just for us to relax before the first question. All right?
Sure.
Let's do it. Right. So before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, don't want to talk about, always can change. Okay?
Sure.
Right. First question for you is, what's the most meaningful gift have you ever received?
The most meaningful gift I've ever received. Wow, that takes some thinking about. The most meaningful gift I've ever received. God, that's really caught me off guard. The most meaningful gift I've ever received.
One of the latest one of something that had taught you so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh God, that would be really difficult. Actually, no. To be fair, I've got a wrist bracelet here, so a tiny wrist bracelet, and it's got a moon rock on it, and a moon rock is about like new beginnings and adventure stuff. And a really close friend of mine, Gemma, she gave that to me before I went off on my travels, and yeah, it's a tiny token, but it means so much to me. So I think of recent time that has immense value, and I don't plan on taking it off anytime soon.
Tell me something. Look, your family still live in London, or they moved to different parts of the UK?
So they've moved around a little bit. So my sister still lives in London. She lives in Hither Green, like Lewisham, which is southeast London. My brother has moved to Kent, Rochester. My mum now lives in Margate, which is again Kent. And then I am the only one in the family that moved kind of south of the river. So I've ended up in Suffolk, basically. So I've ended up the other side of the water. But yeah, we've all kind of grown up and scattered around.
And which person in your family you feel more connected with, more close to right now?
Definitely my brother. Over the last few years, our relationship has really started to grow. I'm the oldest of three, and he's been coming into his own as a man. And with that, he's becoming an incredible man. And I think we've just got closer and closer and have a real mutual respect for each other, which is great.
Wow. Okay, so your brother is watching this interview right now, and you have a moment, an opportunity to send him a message. What would you say?
Keep doing what you're doing. You're an incredible human being, and the world is always going to challenge you, but that's the fun part. Like, take on the challenge and kick down those doors, mate, because you got this.
Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, look, next question is, what's the best advice have you ever given?
The best advice I've ever given. I think this is something that I learned from last year, and I've started to give it to people when, you don't need other people to convince you you're happy. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of us, we live through social media. We're often like videoing and going live and showing the things that are happening in our world on the basis that we want people to like it and give it adoration. And that's you trying to, find happiness through other people's approval of what you're doing. Like, you don't need other people to convince you that you're happy. Like, you should just live in the moment and absorb all the feelings and emotions that come with it and feel happy internally yourself.
And tell me tell me the moment when your mindset, it kind of turned around and realized that did something happen, or you just naturally just learned that?
So I'm a working photographer, and for a long time I've been taking photos of things and sharing them and stuff, and social media creeped into that world, and your value of what you take as an image is then based on how many people like it. You post this photo and you're like, okay, right, did it hit? Did it not hit? And then you start to not appreciate the art form. You're waiting for the likes and the adoration to build value in something you've created, whereas the value is in what you've created, whether or not people like it, because you've created it because it means to you. And I was doing it for years. Like, social media was a dopamine hit for me, and I was finding happiness through other people's opinions of what I was doing. And I just realized, I was like, it's my own self-worth, it's my own internal system that validates the things I do. So yeah, it was probably last year, like I had a bit of a rough year and just had a bit of a wake up, like an internal wake up, basically.
Do you think happiness is a choice?
Pardon?
Do you think happiness is a choice?
100%. And I think in terms of a choice, I don't think you wake up and go, today I'm going to be happy. But what you do is you wake up and you make good decisions, and those good decisions accumulate, which then becomes happiness. So you wake up, you maybe go to the gym or go for a run, you speak to a friend, you eat something healthy, you do something meaningful, and all of those choices then lead to the happiness. Like, it's not just a case of I wake up and today I'm happy. I wake up every morning and I think, oh God, here we go. And then I have to build these processes in place to kind of give me that happiness. So I think it is a choice, but it's a choice through accumulated decision.
Totally. I totally understand your point. I think, happiness, it comes and goes. You're never happy all the time, which is healthy. I think it's great. You know what I mean? I think it would be boring if you would be happy all the time.
Our emotions are like, we've evolved to have emotions, and we have to accept all of them, and we have to sit in them. And sadness and happiness go hand in hand. They have been powerful drivers to allow us to get to where we are. If you ignore them or pretend they don't exist or don't manage them correctly, you end up in really negative spaces.
Totally. Absolutely. Next question. Let's do it. Right. So before the next question, tell me how photography came into your life.
So photography came into my life about 15 years ago. I was working for Sony, and I was expecting my daughter. And someone said to me, a friend of mine, Sam, said to me, get a camera so you can take photos of her growing up, so you don't miss out on her growing up. So I got a camera, and before that point, I never considered myself creative. I didn't do well in school. I didn't think I was creative at all. And I picked up a camera, and this connection, I just came alive creatively, and then photography just built from there. And I decided that that's what I wanted to do. I was like, this is my calling. I really, really, really want to lean into it. So yeah, so about 15 years ago, because of the expectation of my daughter.
Wow, what a connection, good connection with your profession. You know what I mean? I love that. And what's the biggest joy of being a photographer? What do you like the most about it?
The biggest joy, I think the joy is even more precious now than it was when I started. When I started, photos were still around. We still had photo albums, and it's still a tangible thing. And over the last 10, 15 years, they become less tangible. Everyone takes digital images that stay on their phone, and no one shares them, no one does anything with them. They just stay there. They're locked in forever. And the joy of a photograph is like, that's that moment frozen in time forever. And you can gift that. So I've just started getting into taking instant photos on Polaroids. And when I've had a really good experience with someone, I take a photo on the Polaroid and I give it to them as a gift. And their world just stops. You take this photo, you hand them this gift, you hand them this photo, and they're so not used to getting a photo. And they just go, whoa, this is incredible. And then they prize it. And it's like, there's a treasured memory that you get to keep forever. That's external from your mobile phone. Because I think the mobile phone is, everything's in there. Your life, your work, your relationships, everything's all in there. So then you tend to avoid it as a good experience. Whereas if you give a photo, that's all it is. It's just a good memory of a good time, and it's yours separate from everything else. So I think, yeah, that's where the joy is.
And what's your area that you photograph? Is like people or nature or landscape? How does it work?
So it started off in music. So I shot a lot of music and shot lots of dance music. So festivals and DJs, spent a lot of time in Ibiza, shooting Clubland. And then I moved on to shooting portraiture in the studio and spent a lot of time shooting portrait. I really enjoy portrait, not because of the aspect of taking photos of people. I love just spending time with an individual, talking to them and finding out about them. And then they start to come to life. And then you capture the image when they're really comfortable. And it's like, you can't do that straight off the bat. You need time with them to get that from them. And that's what I really enjoyed about portrait photography, is like the interpersonal side of it.
Amazing. Okay. Next question is, what's the best and the worst of being yourself?
The best and the worst of being myself. The best is I care so deeply for other people. Like, I really go out of my way to help people. I would give people the clothes off my back. I'd give them the last bit of money in my wallet. I deeply care for anyone having problems and dealing with stuff. I think the problem with that is I have my own issues, and sometimes I don't look after myself enough, and I often put other people's needs before my own, and that's then difficult, because then you're trapped in yourself, and it's difficult to then kind of care for yourself in that way. But that's something I've been working on over the last few months, and I'm getting much better at it.
And you've always been this way, Luke?
Yeah, ever since a young boy, I've always been this way. Always cared. Like, my upbringing wasn't the greatest. We grew up in London. We was very poor, I guess. And you see a lot of people around you in similar situation, and I always felt bad. And I think, I've always wanted to try and help people. So yeah, I think I've always been this way.
Amazing, great. Next question, ready?
Sure, let's go.
Let's do it. Next one. Like dancing?
The dancing's great. I'm not a good dancer. That's why I've not got myself involved. I'm a terrible dancer.
All right. Next question is, what's your favorite artist of all time?
My favorite artist of all time, in any genre?
Yeah, singer or actor, or, could be any.
Christopher Nolan, as a film director, incredible artist. How he's able to pull a story together and tell a story intricately that's meaningful and purposeful and captivating, uncomparable in my opinion.
Wow. Tell something, look, what's the meaning of life for you?
The meaning of life for me, the meaning of life. I think the meaning of life is empowering the people you love around you. I think, I spend a lot of time looking after my own personal health, my own fitness, making myself strong, building myself as a good character. That's great for me. But I think the power and the meaning is giving that to other people, equipping other people with that skill, and empowering them. You can't empower people if you don't have that in yourself. So if you can gain that and then you can share that, that for me, in recent time, has become the meaning. Like, that's my purpose. That's what I strive for.
And fitness always been part of your life?
Always, yeah. I think from the age I could start buying my own food and taking care of myself, I've always been really conscious of my fitness. I don't know why. I don't know why the calling was there. It's just something I just connected with, and it's always been a massive part of my life. And I think, particularly with my internal battles, if I go to the gym or I run or I train or I do stuff like that, it's so much easier for me to deal with my mind. You take that away, and I lose the battle.
Totally. For me, it's like, it's my therapy of the day. You know what I mean? When you are literally, actually my second therapy, because the gym and here, when I'm doing the interview, is like a therapy for me. But I totally understand. I think somehow, even though when you're not feeling the best, your best, but as soon as you go there, you do some cardio, you just do something, it's somehow, it goes away. It's incredible.
100%. And this is the thing I've been trying to do recently. I've started a thing on my Instagram where I'm doing like 60 seconds of like motivation every day. And it's about trying to encourage other people to do the same. I think if you can get up and you can move your body in the morning, as soon as your day starts, if you can get up and move your body, I guarantee you're going to have a better day than if you didn't. And I'm just trying to like get that message to as many people as possible.
Just answer something that I made a note as well about the 6 seconds of motivation every day. I love that. I was about to ask you this answer now. So your tendency is always train in the morning?
Yeah, always in the morning. I think for me, I want to get up, and before the world starts putting its pressure on me, I want to love myself. I want to give myself the thing that I need. There's no point waiting till the end of the day when the pressure of the world has crushed you, and then you're battling the weight of the world and the weight of yourself. Get up in the morning, get it done. And if that means that you have to go to bed earlier, you have to go to bed earlier the day before. You go to bed earlier, you wake up, you do what you need to do. My golden rule is trying to get it done before 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is when the world switches on. if you can give yourself 3 hours or 2 hours before 9 o'clock, you've taken care of everything you need to, and you're a better person.
Absolutely, I'm the same as well. I love waking up and just go, you know what I mean? Because if you start your day, start something else, you can literally get distracted somehow, you know what I mean? And in the evening, in the afternoon, after work as well, somehow you are drained, you know what I mean? You are tired, and you still can do it, you know what I mean? It's not bad, not wrong with that, but somehow your tendency is to go, you know what, I can do tomorrow. Oh, I'm too tired. So, you know what I mean?
100%. I totally agree with that. Yeah, we think the same in that perspective.
Easy. Next question. Let's
Go.
do it. Right before the next question, tell me, what's the biggest joy of being a dad?
The biggest joy of being a dad. Oh, like, I always say this to people. It is a job that never gets any easier, but it gets more rewarding. And that's always been the way. When they're a baby and they're screaming, that's stressful, and you're like, oh my God. And then you have these moments of joy, and it's beautiful. And then they get older, and they get intelligence, and then they manipulate you to get what they want, and you get frustrated by that. And then they start building their own emotions and the way they live and their own character, and you build frustration. Like, but the reward is incredible. Like, I'm taking my daughter to Thailand in April for the Easter holidays, and I can't wait to show her that part of the world, like to open up her mind about how other cultures live and exist and stuff. And I'm really excited about it now, and I haven't even got there. Like, by the time I get there, I'm just gonna be like a kid, just be like, look at this, look at this, look at this, and just want to show her everything.
And so far, what has been the most, let's say, meaningful lesson that you've learned from her?
The most meaningful lesson that I've learned from her. So she recently came out as gay. So, and I think the lesson that I learned from that was, sometimes we struggle with, showing the world who we are because we're scared of what the world thinks of us. And at the age, like, she's 14 years old, and she's capable to be able to tell me what she wants and why she wants it. And that's just a lesson for me to not hold back in who I am to the world. I'm learning from my daughter. And that's the thing about it. It never gets any easier, but it gets more rewarding. Like, I have to confront myself in that process, but there's reward from that. And it's really incredible.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps now saying that. Look, such a beautiful statement from a father who, accepts and see your daughter as her truly self. I think it's such a beautiful thing. My God, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because, some parents, because of society, religion, and other, facts, they can close their mind, you know what I mean? And seeing someone, so open, talking about how proud you are from your daughter, and because of that fact as well, you became even more, closer somehow. It's such a beautiful thing. I'm so glad you shared that. I'm sure she'll appreciate that as well, because, I had so many guests on the show, part of the LGBTQ plus community, and I had beautiful stories where the parents, like you, they support, they embrace, they are there. However, at the same time as well, there are some sad stories as well. And I think seeing some again, goosebump again, seeing someone so, a dad, a parenting, saying something so open and so beautiful about that, like a meaningful lesson you've learned from her, just her being herself. I think it's such an amazing statement. I'm so glad you said that.
Thank you.
Question for you. Did you know somehow before, or it was something new for you?
So for me, my uncle's gay, and I've grown up around gay men, and I have really good friends who live in the Netherlands. I've been surrounded by sort of gay, lesbian couples all my life. So it's not something I even factor in. This is just another person in my world, and their choices is their choice, and I'm happy for everybody to do that. And with my daughter, I never suspected anything, because it would never bother me if it was. I think when you have suspicion, it's because you have fear. I never had fear of it, so I never had any suspicion. But then when she came out and told me, I was like, yeah. And I think the thing I've realized is lots of young girls her age start to flaunt their skin because they want to attract men. They start to take clothes off and wear belly tops and show themselves. And Bella never did that. She's always very tomboyish. She's always very sporty, combat, baggy t-shirts, caps. And then when she came out, I said, it makes sense now. She's not touting herself to men. That's not where her interest lies. It lies elsewhere. She's comfortable in herself. And that was a bit of I pieced it together, and I thought she was tomboyish because I'm very sporty. And I thought she just was following my path. And then when she said it, I was like, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And as long as you're happy, I'm happy.
Sweet, very sweet. Send my regards to her, okay?
I shall do, yeah.
Next question is, what would your ideal life look like?
My ideal life, that's changed drastically over the last few months. I think for me, my calling is somewhere in Southeast Asia. And that's difficult because I have responsibility as a father here. So I think the next 5 years, I'm going to live here, you know, work as hard as I possibly can, build up the savings and stuff, and then uplift my life and move to the Far East when Isabella is old enough and 18. Give her the option to come and go between my life and her life in the UK. And I think pursue things that have purpose. And my new thing is about fitness and health and stuff like that. And I think, you know, if I can set up doing that remotely, so remote coaching, personal training, mentoring in the Far East, that's what I envision in the next 5 to 10 years.
Now I can see your connection traveling there quite often. I can see, understand now.
I'm taking her there in April to kind of start bedding it in, kind of letting her know that this is culturally what she's going to have to get used to long term. So yeah, laying the bedrocks. And
somewhere like specific in Asia, or like Thailand? You mentioned Thailand, but there's somewhere specific.
Yeah, for me it will be, I don't think I would buy a place. I think I would rent between 2 different places, and it would be Thailand and Bali, between the 2 of those. And there's only a short distance between the 2. So I think during the rainy season, monsoon season in Thailand, I'd go to Bali. And then during the rainy season in Bali, I would then go to Thailand, just transverse between the 2 of them.
Perfect life.
If I can make it happen.
I'm sure you will, I'm sure. 3 questions left, let's do it. Yeah. Hey, Luke from England. Next question is, if you could stay any age for the rest of your life, what age would that be and why?
If I could stay any age for the rest of my life, what age would I be and why? I would be the age I am now. I never want to go backwards in terms of age, because I really value the aging process, because I've not always made the right decisions in life. And I've learned a lot from making those ill decisions, and I like who I am now. And I think if you go backwards, you lose that edge. So I would stay as I am right now. If I had a choice, it would be like where I am right now. Like I'm really looking forward to getting older. If you ask me this question in a year's time, it would be like the age I am now. You know, I wouldn't want to go back. Being a young man is great and it's fun, and you're made of rubber and magic, but you're also bouncing off the walls, making mistakes, making chaos and noise, and you're just causing problems for yourself later down the line. Like, I like where I am now.
And aging for you is something that bothers you? You just see a matter of life?
I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I take great pride in my health, and with age, like, my body does the things I ask it to do when I ask it to do, and that's amazing. I've played rugby a lot of my life. I've got many injuries. You know, I've got aches and pains and stuff, but I take care of my body, and the aging process, I'm really enjoying it. Like, my body is as good as it can be, but my mind is getting sharper. My relationships with people are getting better. Like, you know, so I think age is, I really enjoy it. I can't wait to see where I am. Like, I'm 37. I can't wait to see where I am when I'm 40. I'm really looking forward to that.
Wow, it's amazing to embrace the age that we are at the moment. I think it's a beauty in every age that we are living.
We often look at what we don't have. We're always looking at what we don't have or what's not now, and we lose the present. Like, and a friend of mine, one of my friend's dad says this to me. My friend Joe, his dad Mike, says, you know, the present is a present, and you have to appreciate the presents. Like, and we so often lose that because we're thinking about what we need to get next or what we can do to get to the next level, and we lose what we have right now. Like, you have to live in the moment. And again, it goes back to that whole, like, make life an adventure. You know, you got to live right now, make it fun right now, enjoy it now.
Amazing. 2 questions left.
Let's go.
Before the next question, you know, being a photographer, of course, I believe that when you're going to do a photo shoot with someone, I'm sure there is to have some connection. There is like the ice breaking. There is something for you to connect with the person. What do you do? What's your way for you to kind of break the ice or make the person more comfortable? There is a way for you to, you know, somehow connect with the person you're photographing.
The first question I ask is, what was the last thing that made you laugh? And I'll ask you, what was the last thing that made you laugh, William?
Today at work, actually, I was in we were having like gathering with some colleagues from work this afternoon, and silly thing, we were talking because I was hungry, so I was eating like any canapés were coming. I'll just pick canapés, and suddenly I was like laughing. People were laughing at me because I was literally trying everything, and the people who were serving, they were coming to me. Oh, do you want another one? So they spotted me, so I was laughing. That was the last time I was laughing genuinely.
Well, straight away you animate and you come to life. You retrieve that memory, and you come alive. And that's what I do on a photo shoot. I always ask people, what was the last thing that made you laugh? And they retrieve this memory, it makes them laugh, they become animated, and then all of a sudden the ego, the guards, everything drop, because that's when we're our most vulnerable, when we're laughing and we're happy. We let everything go in that moment. So I always ask that, and it has the same result, and it had exactly the same result there.
I love that. I love it. Okay. Right, I'm not sure if this question can be for you, because are you in a relationship right now or you're single?
I'm single at the moment, yeah, single.
Okay, perfect. So this question is gonna suit you well. Tell me, what makes you most uncomfortable about dating?
What makes me most uncomfortable about dating? I think at the minute I'm still recovering and repairing from a previous relationship, and I probably make myself most uncomfortable. I don't think I have done enough work on myself to make myself the best version of myself to be ready for another relationship. And I think if I'm in the process of seeing someone, and we're in the early stages, but hasn't really moved on and matured beyond that. And I think the reservation there is in myself.
Right.
I need more work, because that I scare myself. I know I'm not 100% where I want to be. So I think it's probably that. It's myself currently. There's more stuff I want to do. I want to make myself as good as possible, because I've come from a relationship and I've analyzed it, dissected it, and I understand what I've gone wrong, and I still need to work on those. And then when I have done that, I know the next relationship is going to be the one for the long term, because I've done what me. Otherwise, I just carry rubbish through life. And this goes back to being in your 20s and your 30s. Like, it's just that mess you carry around, that weight. I no longer want to do that. I want to clear the table. Let's just make things work. Yeah.
And when you are in a dating life, what's something that you look, into? There's something that you expect, or there's something about the person you're going to date, or how does it work for you?
When I was younger, I was very much about aesthetics. I was really interested in like aesthetics and beauty. And that wasn't because I wanted that. That's because I thought to myself, if I have the most beautiful girl, the other guys will look at me and I'll be the most important guy. The mechanics were all wrong. I wasn't doing it for my self-gratification. I was doing it to be more important. And again, other people convincing me of my own happiness. And that's something I've learned. Whereas now for me, like, I want someone that cares for every part of me internally, that can see all the deep, dark corners and loves all of them and supports me. Like, that's the key for me. And I think to discover that, you have to really let down your guard. And it goes back to your last question. I'm not 100% there yet. I'm working on it. I'm getting there to be able to allow someone fully in to kind of, move forward in that process.
Amazing. Last question, ready?
Let's go.
With last question. But before the last question, through your career as a photographer, tell me a moment or a situation that you're never going to forget. For some reason, you're always going to have a special place in your heart.
So I shot a cover of a magazine, and I shot the cover for a magazine called DJ Mag. And then I went back to Ibiza to shoot on another project. And we went into a bar called Comoras, which is basically over in Bora Bora, and it's where the sun sets. And we walked in just as the sun's coming down, and as I walked in, there was a few copies of the magazine on the side with my photo on the front. And I've always struggled with self-worth. I've always never really valued myself or never been proud of the things I've done, and that was like a shudder down my spine. I was like, oh my God, I've done something really incredible, and that will stay with me forever. Yeah, I think that will be one of the highlights of my career for sure.
Beautiful, amazing. Okay, last question is, if you won the lottery, what would be your first big splurge?
My first big splurge, I would pay my house off. I'd pay my house off. I'd pay my brother's house off. I'd pay my sister's house off. I would get me and my siblings on a zero balance for anything financially. That's the first thing I would spend on, and then say, look, you now have freedom. That's where I'd go first way.
Beautiful. I love that. I can see your siblings smiling right now.
Got to win the lottery first.
Right, it's not the end yet. So let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with money.
Pressure.
Fear.
Happiness.
Life.
Fun.
Love.
Fear.
Interesting. Religion.
Discipline.
Sex.
Fun.
Politics.
Complex.
Friendship.
Purpose.
Desire.
Oh, I don't have any desire. Greedy.
Okay. Regrets.
No.
Okay. Success.
Ongoing.
Wish.
Meaningful.
Happiness.
Happiness. Begets. Begets.
One word for London.
Home.
One word for England.
Home again. Yeah, home.
Okay. The last one, a photographer. One word.
Expression.
Amazing. Let's pretend I'm going to meet your brother, the one you mentioned in the interview, for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, define Luke in one positive and one negative word only, what he would say.
Passionate. Complex would be the negative, yeah.
If I would ask the same question to your daughter, would be the same answer?
Yeah, I think it would be the same answer. Yeah. Yeah.
They know you very well. Let's play now. Look in the magic box and you can ask me a question. But before you ask the question, as you mentioned about your career as a rugby player, you're playing rugby for a few years. What rugby has taught you?
Wow. Rugby is probably one of the defining points in my life as a man. It taught me to appreciate other people in all forms. It taught me discipline, which I wasn't taught. My father wasn't present and I had no discipline as a young man. So it taught me discipline.
Wow.
It taught me respect, and not just respect for other people, but respect for myself. And yeah, and camaraderie. Like camaraderie. My friends, my closest friends are all people I've played rugby with. All people. If I count my close friends on my hand, the top 5 of my friends would all be people that I played rugby with.
Wow. It's so interesting saying that. Look, it just made me understand something now. Growing up back in Brazil, I was playing volleyball like professionally every single day. As a teenager, my God, I was training every single day. And you said about discipline, you know, my dad, he was around, but he's still a truck driver, so he was traveling a lot, so he wasn't there very much. Yeah. However, the discipline, actually, I was very disciplined. I loved it. And when I look back now, I'm so grateful for that moment, that period of my life, because, you know, I remember volleyball, it's a group of 6 playing, you know what I mean? So you need to be disciplined. You cannot play on your own. As you know, rugby is a group. It's all together.
Yeah. It's not... Yeah, like it's not about you. It's about collective.
The group.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm so grateful for that, because I take that from my life right now. You know what I mean? Thinking about others, like if I'm going to have a project or something, there's always, I think about people around me as well. Yeah. I think I'm so grateful for that part of my life, because somehow we don't understand at the time when you are playing, just having fun and enjoying. But when you look back, like, wow, I'm so grateful for that, because as you said, it's discipline. It's about sports anyway. Sport makes you, you know what I mean? It teaches a lot.
My advice to any young person or anyone, like if my friends have kids and they've got kids that are a bit haywire and not kind of like towing the line and stuff, I say to them, put them into a sport. Go find a sport that they love and push them into a sport, because they will learn everything they need to about life in sport. Like, you know, you go through life and you can do a lot of stuff on your own, but there will come times where you have to work as a team. As humans, we are team creatures. We are like, we work in tribes. And if you can get good at that, you'll be good at life. It's simple.
Totally agree. Okay, you can ask me a question now.
My question to you is, I want to know what motivates you. Like what motivates you like this, what was the purpose to do this podcast? Like what's your driver?
Wow, beautiful question. I'm gonna have two answers for that. Two things. The first answer is based in our conversation that we had now. Look, for me, waking up early in the morning is when I feel the greatest, the best. I know it's not easy. For me, when I wake up, I have my shower, but as soon as I get out of my home, I feel the greatest. My God, it's a new day now. People who knows me very well, they go like, my God, where do you get this energy from so early morning? So I think it starts from there, the motivation of every day, just to be here present, when you're saying about, the day start working out and doing everything. For me, that's the motivation for me in the morning. And of course, when I'm here doing the show, it's something that motivates me. It's the best. The best of me you're having now is because I'm doing this. So the best is I'm giving now. And the other part of the question, the answer is people. People, they're so fascinating. People, they are so interesting. You know what I mean? I've been doing interviews for the last few years, and I had over 1,300 people here on the show. And have no idea. I think the Magic Box has been in every continent in the world. Yeah. And so imagine talking to people from different backgrounds, different beliefs, different point of views. So I think the motivation for me is about people. It's about seeing people like you. Your eyes shine when you talk about your adventure as a life coach that you want to become, and Asia, traveling. I think that's for me what motivates me. That go like, my God, because I can feel the energy here. I can feel it.
Yeah, same, exactly.
How much people want that. So yeah, two answers.
Love that.
Wake up early, you know what I mean? Starting my day in this very fresh day. I love this fresh air in the morning. It gives me good vibes. And of course, people, when I connect with people, not just here, but of course, my daily basis at work and traveling, people for me, it always motivates me. But here I'm doing interviews, because for me, the interviews, the best part of the interview is when I send the invitation.
Yeah.
And when I receive the notification that the person accepted, and when I click here, I'm gonna for the first time, trust me, I'm like, I can't wait to see the person in front of me, because I know we're gonna make memories. You know what I mean? So it's a moment that motivates. You see how excited I get talking about it?
I can see it. It's great. I love that. I think it's similar to like my experience with taking photos of people, like doing portraiture.
Totally.
You and them alone in the studio, getting to know each other, like that's. Yeah, like the computer screens between you they're just a tool. It's like the relationship between the two people. So yeah, I appreciate that fully.
So you know very well what I'm talking about. Yeah. I just remember that I'm recording when I look here on the top, because I feel so like, I'm my truly self here, that I forget that I'm recording, you know what I mean? And so then I edit the interview, I go like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe, because you're natural here. So yeah, so that's two answers for you, for sure. My genuine answer. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Did you enjoy the interview?
Yes, yeah, loved it. Thank you. It's really nice talking and exploring those topics. Thank you so much, William.
Thanks again. Thanks for taking the time for the interview. Thanks for being so kind and accepting my invitation. Good luck on your journey to South Asia. And again, I'm going to point again about the highlight of the interview for me was when you mentioned about your daughter, the acceptance that you had. Just for me, you literally made my day just with this statement, because it means a lot, not just for me, but for people watching this interview right now as well.
I'm glad I can add value to it, so thank you.
But before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you buy.
My positive message is, you don't need other people to convince you of your own happiness. Like that's a motto that sticks with me. Like, you don't need other people to convince you of your own happiness.
Perfect.
That sounds fantastic.
Thanks again. Regards to your family and your daughter, and keep in touch. It was
appreciate it. Cheers, William. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.